Hey guys, what's going on? BTC Man here, and I've gotten this question a lot recently, so I decided to do a video on it to tackle it, and that is when should you release your deposit in an HYIP piggy bank? And just making a disclaimer right from the beginning, and I'm perhaps stating the obvious, but I don't know when you should release your deposit. That is a very difficult question. And also, just to reiterate this that I've said in many other videos, only the site administrator knows when a program is going to end. And that's something that you should always take into account. So, having said that, I do think there are three things that you can take into account that will help you make an informed decision about when you should release your deposit. And these are things that I've learned just over the past 7 months being in the HYP industry and investing in a lot of programs and taking a lot of hits, a lot of losses, being scammed out, and also, some of the things that I learned that gave me great success. And, I don't claim to be a professional by any stretch of the imagination in HYP investing, but I've made close to $2,000 with very modest investments in that time. And I feel like, I've learned quite a bit from it. So I want to share that with you today. And the first thing you should take into account is to temper your expectations. Now, like I said from the outset, we don't know when these programs are going to end, only the site administrator does. So if you don't get too high, you don't get too low, mindset wise and also financial wise going into these programs, the better off you'll be. So, financially, what I mean by that is if you were to sink all of your money into one program, and let's say that program scams out tomorrow, would that hurt you? And the answer is probably yeah. Then maybe you shouldn't sink all your money into that one program. And you should probably diversify. Spread your funds out over several different programs you have good feelings about. That way, if one or two scam out, you're still in good shape. You're not devastated because you have a few programs that are still going and still giving you some sort of income or profit that you can play with to try to bounce back from the two losses you had. I mean, I've been going at this for 7 months. I still get scammed at. You can look on this channel and you'll see a couple of programs that I did overviews on that just didn't work out. That's just the way it goes in the industry. It's just like sports betting, like I said. You think you have everything figured out, but it's not an exact science, and you will get scammed. And I know I'm probably going to get scammed in the future as well. But if you never sink too much money in, if you temper your expectations, if you're realistic about how much you can earn, I think that's a great mindset to have going into it. Now, the second thing I think is probably the most helpful that I've learned and that has given me the most profits, and that is to go into a program or investment with an actual plan and or goal. And at first, when I was investing in HYIPs, I didn't have a plan. I was going in sort of flying by the seat of my pants. I was improvising. I would just sort of throw some money in an investment and let it sit there until question marks, until I felt like withdrawing it. And I lost a lot of money this way. And you can't really play like that, I found, and expect a typical kind of return all the time. Now, when I finally started making a plan, I found that, man, I was making profits consistently, and that really opened my eyes to it. So, what I mean by making a plan is, let's say you know exactly how much you want to invest in a program, zero point zero 0.05 for instance, BTC. All right, now how long do you want to let that run? How much do you want to make? Set that goal as far as the day is concerned or as far as the percentage ROI is concerned, and then stick to it. Count the days, let it go by, and then make your deposit or make your release whenever the time comes. Withdraw your money. Don't hesitate. Don't think of what if. Don't try to play devil's advocate and say, well, I'm probably going to lose some money if I'm sure this thing will go a little bit longer if I just let it in or whatever. You're going to get burned more often than you think. because this is such an unpredictable industry. But if you set some sort of parameters that you're forced to follow, that's when you're going to be making the most profits, in my experience. But it's not just these two things to take into account. You also have to have the third thing that I'm going to talk about right now, and that is staying informed. You can temper your expectations, you can have a plan, but if you don't actually keep up with the site that you're invested in and stay informed, you could still be blindsided and bankrupt by these daily changes in the HYIPs. Now, you can use some tools to help you stay informed, like checking their Alexa rankings to see what kind of growth they have and stability. Do they have new investors? Are you hearing anything in the HYP monitors and blogs that are alarming, such as people having trouble with withdrawals, or customer service or customer support rather not answering their questions or not being truthful in how they communicate with their investors? All these things are red flags that I would consider withdrawing my funds early. Now, this is I think these three things right here, if you take them all into account, put them all together, they should inform you as to how and when you make your release and you withdraw all your funds. I hope this was helpful, guys. If it was, please hit the like button below. It helps me out so much. And if you want to see more videos like this where I sort of give you some insight and some tips and tricks in the HYIP industry, as well as showing you where I'm investing my money on a daily basis, go ahead and click the subscribe button. And I'll go ahead and see you in the next video, guys.